Hey guys, welcome back. This is Brian.
This is Michael.
Back by popular demand of, I think, 4 people have asked me, when are you guys doing those videos again? I didn't know people even remembered them. I was looking, it looks like it's been 2 years since we've done any videos. But I thought, what the heck? This past Seahawks game's a playoff win. We got the Green Bay Packers coming up. Thought, let's do another video. What do you think, Michael?
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
I think we should totally dive in. I think maybe 1 or 2 people have asked me, so we're definitely
all right.
right there in the
solid
popular
6
demand.
people. All right. Well, to you 6 people who actually watched, this is for you. So we're going to talk about this last week's game up against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia.
Rematch.
Yeah, that was a rematch game, and surprisingly, it came out with the exact same score, but the big difference is our defense didn't have any turnovers this game. And I believe last game in the regular season, I don't know if we actually scored a touchdown on defense against the Eagles, but I know that we stripped the ball, which put us within the red zone to be able to score. So the reason why I say it's a bright side this time is because our offense has seemed to be puttering quite a bit, as most of you have seen. Probably sitting at home watching and going, what the heck's going on? Why aren't they throwing the ball more? Why are they not being able to run the ball? Like, what happened in that first half against San Francisco? There's a bunch of concerns going down the stretch here, especially coming into playoffs. We were at 9-2 and we ended at 11-4, or excuse me, 11-5. So
I think part of that though is you lose your 3 top running backs. You lose Chris Carson, Rashard Penny.
Yeah.
And even though I don't feel like he had much of a presence, CJ Prosise.
Yeah, Prosise, he really didn't. He probably only played half the games this year.
Maybe, but you lose your 3 top rushers, and you're stuck with number 4 in Homer.
Yeah.
Who, the first game he played against San Francisco, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
That being said, this last game, he had 11 rushes for 12 yards. That's pretty bad.
Ouch. That's
and
really
when you
bad.
consider that, really, you go to Lynch, who everyone's all excited about. You got the Skittles raining from the car. If you saw that video, he had 6 rushes for 7 yards, 1 touchdown.
Not good. Where Russell Wilson had, I think he had a 22-yard long rush. But he rushed up the middle. And I believe his overall carries, he had 9 carries for 45 yards. Much better. Still not phenomenal, but not awful.
Yeah, for sure. But your quarterback shouldn't be your leading rusher. We're not the Baltimore Ravens here.
Yeah. St. Lamar, okay. Wilson's 31, I think, 32. So he's not a young chicken anymore.
And I like when he's running the ball because it definitely propels our offense. It's definitely something I like. However, I don't want to rely on him to have to run the ball.
No.
I did like this game how we didn't give up a touchdown. It was only field goals.
Yes.
It reminded me a little bit of our defense of old where we bend but we don't fully break, which is kind of exciting.
They definitely bended quite a bit there at the end of the thing.
Yes,
I thought they're about to snap, but they somehow did not snap.
They held on.
Yeah, they did. I can't believe it. They held on. That's pretty much the key. They held on. Like I said, same score as last time, which is pretty crazy. In Philly, I mean, let's be honest. Philadelphia is a tough place to play. It's in the playoffs. Everybody's in there. The fans are tough on you. A lot of our team kind of new to the playoffs. DK Metcalf, I mean, he's never played in the playoffs before. No. This is his rookie year. Man, how about that pass down the middle to him? He extends and catches.
Well, he missed a catch like that in the earlier game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Did he really?
This year. Yeah, he missed a catch just like that. So it was nice to see him get a little redemption on that. Yeah. It was nice to see him kind of redeem himself there. Yeah. So it was good that he was able to make that catch and really seal the win for us there too.
No,
that was a game sealer.
100%. I mean, 7 receptions for 160 yards. 160 yards. Mm-hmm. If he can come out and produce that against the Packers,
we'll be okay.
Wrap it up, people. We're going home with a win. Those Seahawks, they love to play on the road this year.
They do.
Has not typically been the case for them since I've been watching the Hawks, which has been a little over 10 years now. I think 2006 was when I first started watching every single game of every season.
And I think that's an old prejudice because, honestly, since Russell Wilson took over, the Hawks have been one of the best teams on the road road in the NFL. Russell Wilson just knows how to get it done on the road.
Yeah. Well, and a big thing they've done, I don't know if all of you know this, but the Seahawks came up with a new incentive plan for their players on the road games. So if you win on the road, depending on seniority, you get to fly first class on the way home. Makes a big difference sitting up there in cushy first class instead of back in the coach. And not only do you get to sit first class, you get to pick what coach takes your seat back in coach. So you can pick Carroll, Schottenheimer, Ken Norton, and I've read that they love to pick Ken Norton. They love to put him back there in economy while they sit up in first class drinking that champagne and orange juice. So, little things in life, people, little things in life.
Yeah.
Flying from New York to Seattle or Miami to Seattle or DC, Philadelphia, never personally flown first class, but I would imagine probably makes a pretty big difference on the ride home.
I rode coach many times, and I definitely don't like it. So
that's all I ever ride is economy. So yeah, it makes a big difference. But this last game, we tried to get the run game going, didn't happen. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. We need to rely on the run game, though. Seattle's a run first team. They have been for the last 10 years. And once they get the run game going, that opens up the passing lanes. But just to say, the Philadelphia Eagles, their defense on run is amazing. Their defensive guy, Mr. Cox, is a beast. He was tearing up the line. Mm-hmm. And I think he got 3 solo tackles with 6 total. That's a lot of tackles, actually. And not only that, but he rushed Wilson. He made Wilson have to get rid of the ball before he needed to sometimes. And that makes a big difference. And I know a lot of you probably were watching the game going, gosh, they got a backup quarterback in. All the receivers are out. But, Michael, Philadelphia Eagles have been a good defense this year.
Well, they have a great coach. Doug Peterson's one of the best playoff coaches in the NFL. He's a great coach in general. And when Carson Wentz went down, it's just like, all right, next guy in line. That's the same thing they did with Nick Foles. Yeah. Obviously, Nick Foles is a better quarterback than McCown.
Yeah.
However,
he did not play that for being 40 years old, guys. And keep in mind, he's not been taking reps in practice.
No.
He's not taking reps. He probably hasn't played in a game in I don't know how long.
A long time.
He was coaching high school football before he came back this season. He played very well. He is not the reason Philly lost. I just want to put that out there. And I think everybody on Philly's team would agree with that. Not the reason. But so just to give you a little bit of statistical analysis here, the Philadelphia Eagles are averaging 90.1 yards a game to the rush. That's how much they're typically giving up. That's third in the NFL. Third in the NFL of the 32 teams. Who are the 2 teams above them? You'd be shocked. They're actually the New York Jets and the Buccaneers. The Jets? Yeah, the Jets. I don't ask. But 90.1 yards. That's when you're only giving up 90 yards a game, and that's really good. Only 8 teams gave up under 100 yards per game for the whole season. And just let you know, Hawks was not one of those teams.
No, they are not.
So a little bit of hope for all of you. The Green Bay Packers are number 23 out of 32 teams for yards per game in rushing. They give up a lot. They give up 120.1. That is 30 more yards than the Eagles per game.
That just means the Hawks have to capitalize. Yeah. If they are not a run-first team this week, I don't know what they're doing because they need to exploit that weakness of the Green Bay Packers if they want to win the game.
I agree.
They need to establish that run. They need to get the beast going. They need to have Homer come in and spell them. If they don't do it, they're not going to win the game. They need to establish the run. I think that the Hawks need to at least rush for about 100 yards for one of the running and then maybe like 20 with another. I know that's more than the average of the Green Bay Packers, but if you establish, especially in the playoffs in Lambeau where it's cold, I think that you can come out with a win.
Yeah. The Packers gave up 15 rushing touchdowns this year, so that's a decent amount of rushing touchdowns. And another thing that will help majorly is the fact that Marshawn Lynch has another week under his belt of practice. It's 4 weeks of practice now going into this week against Green Bay. Guys, he's starting to get his legs back a little bit. He's starting to get his stamina. He's starting to get a little bit more in shape. Now, is he in regular football shape that other people are in?
No, not yet. I mean, the guy was in retirement sipping margaritas and doing commercials. Yeah. He was in Oakland doing stuff. Yeah, I mean, the guy needs to get back in shape, clearly. Yeah. But there's nobody else out there right now for the Hawks to pick up. So he's the best option that we have.
Yeah, and he'll do a great job. I really think he will. So the Hawks going to Green Bay this weekend. It's going to be cold. Actually, I think it's supposed to be colder here in Seattle. But it's
supposed to snow out here.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow every day this week, next week. So, but yeah, Hawks are going to Green Bay. You gotta tighten up that defense, middle of the field. If we get beat, it's because Rodgers is going to throw 5 to 10 yard passes over the middle, and they're just going to slowly chip away at the Hawks. Yeah. This has been how you beat the Seahawks. It just has been.
Well, that defense is always a hole, and the announcers, Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, they commented on last week how you beat that defense is you send that tight end up into the middle there.
Yeah.
And that beats that defense every time. Well, they've got Jimmy Graham. Yeah. I mean, we all know what Jimmy Graham can do. Mm-hmm. We've watched him for years playing for us, and before that with Drew Brees and the Saints. Yeah. So even though he's a little bit older, he's still a good tight end. And
especially we need to watch that down in the red zone. Mm-hmm. Graham, I know when he was with us, I know we got mixed feelings here in Seattle. We didn't feel like he was that great. But even with the Hawks in the red zone, he comes alive, you guys. Mm-hmm. He comes alive, and he uses that body, and they need to put a big body person on him.
For sure.
And they need to rough him up. They need to, I'm not saying injure him, but, get up in his face, push off of him, hit him as much as you can in that first 5 yards. Don't create a penalty, but
make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make him feel uncomfortable, you're going to be doing okay.
Yeah.
I will say one nice part about the game last week, even though our rush wasn't good with Homer and Lynch, they did have a few receptions, so they weren't completely out.
That's true.
Lynch did have, only 2, but for 25 yards, which is a lot of yardage there. And then Homer had 1 for 5. Not really as much. But still, to give credit a little bit to Lynch, he did have the 2 for 25, which is a pretty significant chunk of yardage, especially since those are ones that pick up first downs, which is really important in this win last week.
Yeah, very much so. And we just need to get a little bit better at holding that run. And we gave up 120 yards to the Eagles. I'm not quite, I'm not as up to date right now, but I'm not sure who's Green Bay's running back.
I'm not sure about that.
And I don't mean that as a slight, I don't even know who they have.
I definitely have to look that up. Yeah, for sure. However, I do know that Green Bay won't be over top. They're not going to throw the ball long. They have Adams, I believe, is their one receiver, and he's really only their true threat on the outside. From receiving anyway. So the Hawks can lock him down and force them to force Aaron Rodgers to pass the ball to the receivers. I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I agree. So my prediction is I'm a little biased, but I think Hawks can get done. I honestly do.
It's definitely possible. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game.
No, definitely not. Sorry, hang on 1 second. My stupid dog is a pain in the butt. So, anyways, I think Hawks will come away with the win. As for the other games this weekend, you guys are probably wondering, all right, who's going to win against Minnesota and San Francisco? Man, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you can go down to New Orleans and you can beat the Saints at home, you can go to San Francisco and you can beat the 49ers. It's possible.
A lot of people thought the Saints were the best team despite the fact that they were not the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you got, Michael?
Well, it's a tough one again. I think there's only 2 teams that can beat the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC. One of them is the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. We saw that week 17. Mm-hmm. It was a bad call. I'm not going to dwell on it. It's fine. It's over. But earlier in the year, the Hawks handed them their first loss. And you could argue, there was a bad call there that let the Hawks win. But that's just how it happens. I mean, they lose one, they win one. Yeah. The other team, I think, could be Minnesota. Minnesota they have a tough defense.
Yeah.
They can run the ball. And Kirk Cousins does what he needs to do to win. I mean, a lot of people don't see it, but Kirk Cousins was one of the top performers for passing touchdowns this year. And a lot of people like to give him grief, but he played pretty darn well last week against the New Orleans Saints. So, and he had the game winner. You could argue that was a push-off and it should have been pass interference, but the fact of the matter is he still threw the ball exactly where it needed to be in order for his guy to catch it.
It's true.
And, at Thielen is just probably the best receiver in the league right now. So
I don't know. I mean, you got
he's so good.
Not Bosa, but Kibble or Kittle.
Oh yes, Kittle's very, very good as well.
Yeah, he's very, very good.
But then you've also got Rudolph as tight end for them. So I mean, that's a tough guy to beat too. So honestly, I think the Vikings, if they do pull it out, it'll be by field goal. Ultimately, though, I'm going to give it to San Francisco. I'll give them 17-14.
Okay.
It's going to be a close game, and ultimately, whoever controls the ball last is going to be the team that wins that game, I think.
Yeah, probably. Tennessee, Baltimore. I'd love to see Tennessee win. I'd love to see Tannehill win. Oh man, what a story for the guy.
He got his first playoff appearance last week and his first win.
And he won against the Pats.
And it's his first time he's ever won in Foxborough. He has he's gone there 6 years in a row.
That is
never
crazy.
Won.
And never won there before.
The guy got a little sweet redemption last week.
Good for him. Good for him.
He didn't do a lot. However, he did exactly what the team wanted him and needed him to do. So, that's a tough one.
I mean, Baltimore's going to win this game.
I agree with you. However, I will say this. I honestly believe that if there's one team again to beat Baltimore, it's Tennessee, and it's because of that. It's because of that run game. If Derrick Henry can get going,
beast of a run.
He gets better. He gets better as the game goes on. You see it in every game that he gets rolling. If he can do that, he's just going to roll and roll and roll. And if the Baltimore Ravens give up too many of those rushing yards and he gets fed too much, it's going to be tough for the Ravens to come away with that win.
He had 34 carries last week against the Patriots for 182 yards.
And a touchdown.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean,
34 carries.
Think about how much time goes off the clock there. If Lamar Jackson doesn't have the ball,
this is true.
Then
This is very true. This is very true. If Tennessee, because here's the thing: is Tennessee going to hold the Ravens to not scoring? No. They're going to score. But here's the problem: is they'll probably score so quickly that their defense is going to be it's going to get tired. Because Tennessee is methodical. They take a long time.
Run the ball.
Yeah, they're going to take a while to get in the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry might be the best running back in the NFL right now. He just might be.
Yeah. So if you get to the third or fourth quarter and the score is close, Tennessee could pull it out. But I got the Ravens.
I got to give it to Baltimore as well. Ultimately, I don't think Tennessee's defense can handle it. I think they're going to end up giving a lot of points. And then Derrick Henry's going to be taken out of the game because you can't run the ball when you're behind. I think this game's probably going to be like a 27-17. And I don't even know if they'll get 17.
Yeah, they might not.
It really just depends on early game and how Derrick Henry does.
Yeah. So last game, Houston versus Kansas City. I don't know. I want to say KC, but I think Houston's going to pull this off because, J.J. Watt's back, and he played last week, and he's not fully up to football shape like he was, but he is. I mean, he's not as out of shape as like Lynch was. He played this season. He's back, and he's
in rehab.
Yeah,
working out, getting ready.
Yeah, he's a beast. And Houston's. I mean, let's be honest. Houston's QB is. Oh man,
Watson.
Good. Yeah, Watson is like.
I have to disagree with you on this one though. I think. Going to pull it out. I think it's going to be Kansas City. Mahomes is really good. I think he might be probably the best quarterback in the league. I think he's better than Lamar Jackson.
No.
Yep, I think he's better than Lamar Jackson.
No.
Lamar Jackson has better options. He has more support. Lamar Jackson's got 2 guys on his offensive line that are Pro Bowlers. Both his running backs and his kicker are all Pro Bowlers. There's so much support around him that it's easier for him to be good. He's got guys that protect him that allow him to do more with it. Patrick Mahomes does not have that. I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. That being said, he's also still, even if he's not better than Lamar, which many people would argue he's not, I think he is definitely better than Watson. And I think that if you take just the quarterbacks and you were to do just based on the quarterbacks, you have to give it to Mahomes. And I honestly think there's a 2-point swing just on the quarterback. So Kansas City, I think their biggest drawback is the Andy Reid teams traditionally do not do well. I mean, they made. I think Andy Reid with the Eagles and Donovan McNabb made it to 1 Super Bowl, and they were in that playoff, that NFC title game 4 times, I believe, and they only won 1 of them. So that is something. And Donovan McNabb was a great quarterback.
I don't think
they never won. They lost in the Super Bowl. I don't remember who they lost. Yeah, I think it was the Patriots, but. I mean, it probably was the Patriots, let's be honest. But the point still remains the same, is they were only able to make it to the Super Bowl once. And that was with Donovan McNabb, who arguably was a great quarterback in his own right.
Yeah, but he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Mahomes is young. I think right now he's better, but we'll see what happens next year. I mean, he could lose it just like that.
Yeah,
we see it happen with guys all the time, so...
Yeah. Houston's defense needs to step up, though, if they're going to win. They gave up a lot of points to the Bills and weren't putting on points. Now, overall, 19 points through the whole game, it's not that bad, but I believe they were down. I think they were down 19-0 at one point.
It was 16-0.
16?
Yes, I remember.
Okay, sorry, yeah, 16.
They kicked that field goal to make it to go into overtime.
That's true, 16-0. Sorry. So,
ultimately, that game was all about momentum. The Bills were in control for the whole game. Third quarter comes around, the Texans, they're able to score, and the momentum just changed. It was completely, the Bills were deflated. They didn't look like they were outgassed, outgunned, and Watson and the Houston Texans they took over and they said, no, we're going to will it. We're going to win this game. Yeah. And that's ultimately why I think Kansas City will win, because they are not a team that loses heart and gets outgassed like that. Mm-hmm. The Bills are a good team. They're not as good as the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Well, those are our predictions for this weekend. We'll see what happens. We're excited to watch some football this Saturday and Sunday, and go Hawks. And we'll see. We'll see you next week. We'll do a recap of what happened, and then we'll be going into that NFC Championship and AFC Championship, and I'm really hoping it's going to be the Hawks. And if Vikings win, you guys,
we
host. Yeah. And if not, then we get to go to San Francisco.
Yeah. That's and
it's just as sweet that we can go to San Fran and kick them out of the playoffs.
That would be pretty cool too. So,
anyways, hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Brian.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you next week.
Go Hawks.
Bye.